Hey, it's time for another book review. So today's book is Me Before You by Jojo Moyes. It's the first time I've ever read one of her books, and I saw this book like a million times on Amazon for the past couple of months, and I was like, should I get it or not? And then eventually I did get it, and I'm so glad I did because this is one of my favorite books of all time. Seriously. So right when you turn the cover, there's a praise page for the story, and I think I would have to agree with them on every account. The first one says they want to reread it. I want to reread it. Like, as soon as I finished the story, I was like, you know what, I have to go back and read it again. So I might do that. And then the next one says read it and weep, which, yes, you're going to be weeping throughout this entire book because of the suspense of what's going to happen. And it's heartbreakingly beautiful and truthful, which I, again, agree with. So the story takes place in a little town in England, a little quaint town where the main attraction and the main source of income for the town is the castle. The castle is pretty much on the highest point of the town and overlooks pretty much everyone's house and all the businesses, and a lot of the story deals with either looking at the castle or walking around the castle, and I thought that was a really unique, really nice little addition to the story. I've also been to castles like the one that's discussed in this book, and I've always thought, like, what do the people around town seem like? So the story basically surrounds Louisa Clark. She used to work at a cafe and she was pretty happy with her life. She was about 26, 27 years old, and even though she wasn't really getting much out of life, she was pretty content of what was happening. And then everything changed. Frank, the cafe's store owner, he actually shut down the cafe so he could move back to be with his mother who was ill. So then Louisa was left unemployed for months trying to find jobs that can cater to her skills, which she realized that she didn't have any. So Louisa comes from I hope I'm saying her name right. Louisa. So Louisa, she comes from a working class. She lives in the house with her parents, her sister, her nephew, who her sister had young, and their grandfather. And Louisa's basically the only breadwinner for a long part of the book. Because she's the breadwinner, she has to have work, and it has to be anything. It can't be something that she really wants to have. It doesn't have that luxury to decide what she wants to do and then do it. She has to provide for her family. So after many failed attempts at a normal job, one of them including actually working at a chicken factory, she ends up going to the job center and finding this job that she wasn't really happy about taking, but she had to take it for the money because it was good money. It was basically to take care of a quadriplegic, and that was pretty much all the information that she got. She didn't know who that person would be, how old that person would be, what else she would have to do. Would she have to bathe him? Would she have to just feed him? Would she need medical experience? There wasn't many factors into what this job was going to be. So she turned up, desperate for a good job, and the job length was 6 months, and so, which obviously isn't a lifetime career, but she took it to get some more experience in her resume, and it changed her life. The book actually starts out with William Trainor's perspective. He's this financial whiz kid. He has this gorgeous girlfriend. He makes money like nobody's business. He travels the world. He comes from a wealthy family. And then he gets into a car accident. Well, actually, it's not a car accident. He got hit by a motorcyclist, which left him with a spinal cord injury and pretty much paralyzed from the neck down. He had some movement in his arms, but really he couldn't do anything for himself. He couldn't feed himself, he couldn't clean himself. Basically, he had no control over his own life, and he had to move in with his parents back home, and he wasn't happy about that at all. He was really upset with the lifestyle that he had, lost. He actually tried to commit suicide after one of his caretakers left him alone for like 15 minutes. So when his parents tried for another caretaker after obviously she got fired, they were looking for someone who had less experience as a medical caretaker, but more as someone who can give Will a good time and hopefully change his mind, because the whole premise of this book is that William decides that he wants to end his life. So after his failed suicidal attempt the first time around, his parents reluctantly decided that they would give him 6 months time, the 6 months that Louisa would work with him, that 6-month contract, to give them that time to live with him, and then on August 13th of that year, he was gonna kill himself, go to Switzerland, and do a lethal injection. The first day, actually the first week or two, Louisa hated the job. Will, of course, obviously hated her. He hated everyone in his existence. He treated everyone really badly, and Louisa was probably just one of many new caretakers who took on the job, realized they hated it, and then quit. So Will thought it was going to be like that. However, it wasn't. For a while, he tried to push her away, he tried to bully her, he tried to belittle her. Louisa took it with a grain of salt. She never said anything back, but without giving away too many details, the two of them get together, they get closer, they become best friends. Will basically introduces a whole new life perspective to Louisa, and she found out that Will was going to kill himself. She didn't know that when she got this job. She thought for some reason, oh, that's weird that it's only 6 months. When she heard that Will wanted to die and that he had already tried to commit suicide, her world crashed around her. She didn't want to be a part of something like that, which a lot of people would agree with. She did not want to be one of the people that, you know, sat by there and let their loved one die right in front of them. The next 5 months, it's all about helping Will Traynor survive. She does whatever she could do to get his mind off of August 13th and to persuade him that even though life isn't what he wanted it to be, it would still be worth living, no matter how you feel about assisted dying. By the end of the book, I think we can all agree that the right decision was made. You know, Louisa did what she could. She really did. That girl pushed through. She enlisted the help of Nathan, William's medical caregiver, and her sister. Her older sister, Trina, who she did not have the best relationship with. There's always been that sense of sibling rivalry and jealousy and just typical sister things. I think a lot of us would relate to how Louisa and Katrina treat each other, even though, I mean, I relate to them and I'm an only child. So besides the sibling rivalry, the other really big relationship that Louisa has in the book is with her boyfriend Patrick. They've been together for about 7 years, and it's pretty much at a stalemate at this point in the book. Because they've been together for so long that they have to be together forever. And I like how their relationship develops throughout the book. I think you're gonna like it. I think you're gonna agree with her choices. I think you're gonna like what Will has to say about it all. And I don't want to give it away, but good things happen. I had to move my camera so you guys didn't get too much of the sun. Ignore this mess right here. What I love about this book is that the relationship between Will and Lou, they're very much a give and take. It's not necessarily the entire book about Lou trying to get Will to decide to live rather than die. It was more of Will opening up Louisa's eyes to the world and to see that there's more to life than just the castle town that they lived in. I love also seeing when Louisa's at work and she's surrounded by this air of luxury. Everything around her is super expensive, super traditional, and things you would only see in a museum. And then she goes home to her quirky little English townhouse where everyone's trying to make ends meet. I think it's a really nice contrast to see the different types of lives that surround that little castle town. And I think it's also really relatable. I think all the characters in here, you can picture them so vividly in your head. For me, I know Louisa looking for jobs, being unemployed, that was really relatable to me. I think she in general is relatable to pretty much everyone. She has this really nice personality that draws you in, and she's really lovable. She even wears crazy, crazy, crazy clothes, but she's still one of those people that you really want to be friends with. I love how their characters clash. I love how their characters come back to one another after that clash. And at the end of the story, I think the fact that Louisa and Will come to an understanding and even though it might not be something that they both agree on, the fact that they come to this realization and they still love each other and they still support each other no matter what the outcome was, it's just like this really, really nice, beautifully wrapped love story. I love this book so much. I mean, you could apply this story of assisted dying to a lot of different cases around the world. I'm not saying that this is assisted dying, like this whole book is about helping someone die, but that's up to you to read to find out if he died or not. Even if you don't support it, you should read it to see perspectives of people who want it to happen. I mean, it's their life. Will is basically this spearhead for it's my life, let me do what I want to do with it. Who are you to tell me what to do with my life? And I really like that about him, but then it's so hard because you want him to live so he could be with Louisa, and it's like that constant struggle. I think this book will help with talking about such voodoo, such, you know, really sensitive subjects. And also I just typed in Google assisted dying to make sure I was using the right words for it. I didn't want to offend anyone, and if I do, I'm really sorry about that. I didn't mean to. But I typed it in and it says that The Guardian said that assisted dying will be legal in the UK within 2 years, which, wow, that's taking major steps, and I wonder if books like this has influenced that. There's a prosecution report at the end of the book in regards to the trainers and Louisa and whoever knew about Will's suicide and allowed it to happen. And it basically says that, you know what, after all the evidence, after seeing how he was treated, how he wanted to, you know, how he wanted to go, how his mind was thinking, if his mind was clear, it's okay. At the end of the day, it's okay, his decision, whatever it was. And hopefully you didn't just catch what I said, but what I really like about it is that at the end of my copy there's a conversation with Jojo Moyes, and basically she says that she had 2 family members who had to depend on 24-hour care, and that she was inspired by that, but she was really inspired by a rugby player who actually ended up going to Dignitas, sorry, I keep messing up that word, and yeah, his parents went along with him, and she couldn't believe that his parents would go with that. And then when she did research and she read into the story more, she realized everything is not so black and white, and I really like that. So that inspired this book, and I think it's a really good book, and the sun is pretty much going and telling me that I need to wrap this up. Once again, it's called Me Before You, and I think this title says it all. I'm going to try doing some more book reviews. I'm going to finish up Eleanor and Park, and then I'll do a little video for you guys on that. And yeah, I'll see you in my next video. Bye! Okay, you can see my hand.